Oh, it's recording. Hello, my lovely audience. Anyway, welcome to another video. And welcome to my 100 subscriber special. First of all, I have a few things I need to say. Now, the reason I haven't been posting, I got a new phone, which is also why everything's super janky right now. I'll have to get used to it again, but yeah, I got a new phone. Had to transfer the data from one phone to another. Second of all, in case you're wondering, eternatus is like one of my top 10, no, not even, like top 3 favorite Pokemon. Also, Sword and Shield is just purely my favorite Pokemon games. Well, yeah. Why? Gigantamax. That's why. Dynamax and Gigantamax. I don't know how we went from kaijus to turning Pokemon into glorified nightlights. But yeah. As you can guess, I don't hate, Scarlet and Violet. I think they're nice games, but they're okay. That's about it. They're okay. I'm not that really favoritized to them. Anyway, give me a moment. Let's get into the video. So, when Deku's born, he would immediately have his quirk. That quirk being, well, basically him being a thermonuclear reactor on steroids. In case you're wondering, one of the main plot points for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that Rose, President Rose, decides to, capture Eternatus in order to use it to generate mass amounts of electricity, because apparently Galar in like 1,000 years was going to get a calamity, so he brought about the darkest day. Now, Deku's quirk would, allow him to generate massive amounts of energy. Now, this energy is very special because, it basically turns anything living it touches into giant monsters, like how in Sword and Shield, Pokemon Dynamax and Gmax. Now, with certain creatures, when certain conditions are met, they will grow into, different variants than others, as you would say. These variants tend to be stronger, larger, and more bloodthirsty. Anyway, so when Deku would be born, he would immediately look like this, and he would get taken away. Why, you ask? Because his quirk is very destructive. So they would take a facility for children with villainous quirks. Quirks that could be destructive. Sorry, had a yawn. But yeah, quirks that could be destructive. Children with dangerous quirks or villainous quirks get taken there. And Deku would spend the next 4 years strapped up and chained up. He would be taught how to speak just so that the place doesn't get court-martialed, as one would say. Because, they need to still do things in order to make it seem less like a prison and more like a childcare facility. So he would still be taught how to speak, he would be given a television in his room, but that's about it. He would be bound and strapped up off the ground 24/7. And you know these little cable things? Yeah, these whip things on his neck? Those would be hooked up to cables, and they would be constantly draining energy from him. At this point, majority of the city would be powered off of his quirk alone. With each passing day, his quirk grows stronger and stronger, and they need to continuously increase the amount of energy they can store so he doesn't blow out the servers. Being an engineer has never been more profitable. But Deku would be stripped and bound. His tail would be shackled to the ground. Until, well, one day, a girl would enter, well, his his containment area. This is when he's about 6. She would have, you know what, yeah. She would be a blonde-haired individual, and she would be with her father, a very well-known man that he's seen on the TV. Someone who works at Island, but he can't remember his name. Something Shield, he thinks. Why are they there? But it would seem that, well, the man that Deku can't quite remember the name of would be talking to someone about him, he thinks. Everything is just so strange right now. The girl, who looks to be about his age, maybe a little bit older, would quickly walk over to him and look up and say, "Wow! Oh, you look neat. Hi, I'm Melissa. What's your name?" Deku would look at her and squirm a bit in his shackles before speaking. I'm Izuku. Izuku Midoriya. Melissa would say, "Oh, that's a nice name. So, what's your quirk?" I don't quite know. No one really ever told me anything about it. Though I remember one of those men in the coats saying that a document about my quirk was in there. He would say, looking over to a cupboard. Melissa would run over and look at it. She would then quickly run back to Deku and say, "Oh, your quirk is called eternatus? Eternity? That word's hard." And, well, she would explain how his quirk works. Deku would be quite happy that, well, he finally knows why he's there. And he also finally has someone to talk to. The two of them would talk and talk, whilst David, Melissa's father, would continue to talk with one of the employees, getting increasingly annoyed at them for, well, the fact that this place is basically a prison. Like, seriously, one of the children is currently strung up, unable to so much as even move, with only a television to keep them company. Deku. I'd also like to just say this artwork is incredible. Like, that's very nice art. So is this. Also very nice. So, Melissa would continue to visit Deku each day, because, well, she can't really do anything else. Well, Deku can't do anything else. And since her father, David, keeps on coming here and keeps on making complaints, she just is able to keep on visiting Izuku. When they're about 12 and Deku's still up in his shackles, Melissa would be there, but a few men would come walking by. She would quickly, well, hide, since she wasn't supposed to be there. At least she thought so. Huh. I'm curious about that siren. Anyway, so, yeah, at least the men weren't informed that her and David would be there. So she would quickly hide behind a cupboard. Well, one of the many cupboards there that are there supposed to keep records of Deku's activities, well, with his quirk. She would hide behind it. Well, yeah. And she would hear them talking about his quirk, and well, how. Oh, if they really wanted to, they could use him as something more than a power source. Well, there have been a few riots as of lately of, well, because of how they apparently treat children. One of the men would laugh at that, saying that, well, these brats should be grateful. As you can guess, these are not nice people. But they're thinking about using Deku as, well, a cannon. Basically just a cannon to Exodia obliterate everyone. Fun fact, eternatus' signature move, a move that he gets, like, within a few levels, basically just has him turn into a cannon. As they're talking about this, Melissa would have taken out her phone and begun recording it as the two of them are talking, and, well, talking about some of the shit things they do, like, for example, using children with extraordinary regeneration quirks. Fair, but they make them zombie-like, as both meat factories to sell to supermarkets and power sources for them to run on treadmills. But the treadmill event has ended a long time ago since, well, Deku came along with his mass production quirk. His quirk on producing massive amounts of electricity for them. At this point in time, like, majority of the city, not even, like, majority of the city and the next few cities over are all powered off Deku. As well, he's able to produce more than enough electricity for everyone. But yeah, they are talking about, well, using Deku as a... They're talking about this and horrible things they've done. Now, the reason they're there in the first place is to fetch a few documents about, well, Deku, about Izuku, to give to other people. To give to the higher-ups. Once they leave, Melissa is horrified, and she quickly runs out, saying that she's gonna go show her father this. And Deku is left there, chained up. But when she gets to her father, David is currently, well, being held back by security, as a rich individual is, well, punching the shit out of him, being all smug, like, yeah, David Shield. You just didn't want to, you just kept on sticking your nose in other people's business. Now you're becoming a bit of an issue. So then, the rich, pompous piece of shit would proceed to punch David once more. Looks like you're going to have to be taken out of the equation. So then, tell me, where's that device you made? What device? David would respond with. Oh, don't play dumb with me. We both know that you made a device capable of enhancing someone's quirk. I want it. Where is it? Maybe if you tell me, I'll let you and your little shit-brained daughter live. Melissa would quickly run away as the rich piece of shit, I'll call him Richie, ironic name aside, would signal at his goons to go and grab her. She would quickly run to Deku, and, well, when the goons would get over there, she would grab a key and threaten them with letting Deku out. Whoa, kid, you don't need to go that far. She looks at them and says, well, you've been hurting kids every day. You've been hurting my friend every day. Why shouldn't I? She would bring the key closer to the lock by his chest. Look, if you let that thing go, then we're all gonna be in shit. Melissa has had it up to here. Thing? He's my friend. Deku's just sat there, chained up, like, in my opinion, I don't know what's going on, but I'm ready to blow these people to smithereens. You know, he's more than ready to just Exodia obliterate them. He's more than ready to just blow them to Kingdom Come. But, yeah, Melissa's threatening them. Richie, the rich piece of shit, would walk in and just say, "Shoot her. Do you think we care about some random child? Just shoot her. We can more than make up for it in compensation." Melissa would quickly, before the people can pull out their guns, she would quickly unlock Deku and set him free. A blast of red electric energy would zap out, knocking Melissa and everyone else to the walls. Deku would be floating there, like this, this exact picture, staring them down, with, his quirk active as all hell. It would begin flaring up and sparking uncontrollably. As well, Deku would fly upwards, and as a red energy would emit, and Deku would have changed form into this. Well, yes, and Deku would then let out a bit of a blast from his hand thing. He would let out an energy blast equivalent to a laser, which just blows one of the guys into nothing. The only thing left is his legs. Not even, just his calves. That's it. Deku would quickly fly upwards as, it would begin raining. As clouds would begin gathering in the sky, Deku would burst his way out of the ceiling, as a red bolt of energy would strike down from the sky, hit Deku, go past Deku, and right through the hole he made. It would then begin to melt the ground and the ceiling as stood there above them all would be this, just hovering above Melissa, more than ready to kill them all. Well, we're fucked, Richie would say before getting, eaten. Just bitten into, swallowed, and then his body would begin to dematerialize and get absorbed into the little black hole there. He would just get absorbed, assimilated. Deku would roar at the rest of the guards, making them all shit themselves and run away. Deku would reduce to his normal form, and, him and Melissa would quickly go check on David, who would be alive, just on the ground, bleeding, in pain. And, we do a bit of a time skip to, Island, about by 3 years. Deku would have just finished refueling most of the battery cells before he would hear Melissa calling him. She would then say, "You wanted to be a hero, right? Well, I just came up with this nice little... my brain. I just came up with this idea for a hero suit. Let me just, She would quickly take out some measuring tape. This idea for support gear, and I need a quick, help. And then, Deku would just put his hand over her mouth, being like, shush, I know what you want. You want me to fuel it, don't you? She would quickly nod, then she would run off and bring out, this massive ass. Not massive ass, but massive ass piece of equipment. She would put both of her hands on her hips and say, Look, it's my recent one, my most recent creation. What does it do? Deku would respond with, it's basically like, how in movies, like space movies, ships have, shields, spaceships? Yes. Well, it's basically that. It's spaceship shield. I had some help with all the parts, but yeah, I made a shield. It functions. I just need you to quickly power it. Deku would place his cable whip things. I don't know what they are. They like tentacles into the machine. Well, two ports in the machine where cables would go, and he would begin transferring energy to it. As the top of it would begin to glow red, as a red bubble would appear and circle the both of them. Create this massive dome-like thing. It was blue before, but if I'm being honest, it's probably because of your quirk. But yeah, I made a functioning shield. She would take out a gun and shoot it, and the bullet would be stopped. She's inside the shield, by the way. She would shoot towards the shield, and it would be stopped. Deku would look at her and say, Where did you get a gun? I'll give you some roast duck if you don't answer any more questions. Deku proceeds to say yes immediately, because his favorite dish is actually roast duck. But, yeah. And anyway, so then, we do a bit of a time skip to the start of the anime, yeah. The start of the anime. Deku and Melissa are on Japan, just currently looking around for a certain individual who an individual who makes support gear, and just like an ally type thing. Just an individual who's well known, who makes support gear. She would quickly burst out of, a warehouse and say, Hi, I'm Mei Hatsumi. It's nice to meet you. Melissa Shield. Nice to meet you. Azuka Midoriya. Nice to meet you. Oh, shit. And look at you. You look very cool. Look at those legs. Look at the arms. This is beginning to give me an idea for a new baby. A new what? Invention. Baby. Both the same thing to me. My creations, my wonderful babies, my wonderful support gear. When you said she was crazy, I did not believe you. I never said she was crazy. To her face. Anyway, they would quickly walk inside, and she would say, I have this new project, which I needed help on. I need a power source and an extra set of hands. She would quickly undrape a tarp, revealing something in the shape of a car. A DeLorean. What's that? Melissa would say. It's in the shape of a DeLorean. It has the shell of DeLorean, but it has a bunch of cables and other shit. Other crap. My latest baby. I just need some help with a few parts and a bit of measuring, and then you can start it up. As they would begin working on it, and upon them finishing it, Deku would hook up to it and it would begin to float. It's a flying DeLorean. It would, like, levitate with red energy. Oh, I don't know why that redness is there. My friend Izuku's quirk here. You know, basically, he's pretty much an unlimited power generator, but everything that's powered by him glows red. Okay. Now, we do about a time skip by a day. I just remembered a little bit of the what if, which I had forgotten about. So, when Deku and Melissa are talking, Deku would take Melissa's hand and say, "Look, I'm very thankful for what you did, back then. So, I have a gift for you." He would say, quickly taking out a watch with a red glowing X on it. He would say, this is basically a emitter for my quirk. If you're ever in a bit of danger, put it on. Well, you can use it to, make a... Well, you can use it on something and then it'll turn into a giant. It'll basically become a kaiju. I really want you to be safe. So, yeah. Unconspicuous foreshadowing. So, Deku would go... So, time skip to the entrance exam. Deku would go there with Melissa. Melissa would be going to the support course. Deku, the hero course. Yeah. So, written exam. Deku does pretty well on it because he spends all day with Melissa. Melissa does fantastically on it. Okay, the entrance exam. So Deku's just sat there levitating, and, when Ida's asks his dumbass question and turns around to Deku, he's like, "Sir, please turn down your glow and stop muttering to yourself. It is quite distracting." Deku would look at him, get up. He's about 6'9" at the age of 16, and he is only getting bigger. He's 6'9" right now. In about a year, he'll be 8'1". Yeah. He gets up. He's towering above Ida, and he's like, "What did you say to me?" You have very nice shoes," Ida would say before walking away. Like, that's very cool art. But yeah, Ida would quickly walk away. Deku would, when the doors begin to open, Deku would bolt out faster than Ida can even speak. And Deku, before Ida could say anything, President Mike's like, "Yeah, that's a hero. Go, go, go." Oh, no hero waits for countdowns. That classic bit. Upon Deku leaving, he would change into this. This right here. And or this, if you want to be more accurate. But yeah, he would turn into this, and begin firing G-Max lasers at everything. A random raven would be hit by one, and turn into G-Max Corviknight, and it would also begin shooting its feathers out at... It would begin shooting its feathers out at random robots, and, destroying them, since this Raven was carrying a metal ring, a piece of metal, because it's shiny. It became a G-Max Corviknight. And so thus it has control over its feathers as if they were fighter planes. But as Deku's destroying everything, the 0 pointer would come out, and it's about the same size as Deku's. Fun fact, Eternatus is the same size as G-Max Butterfree. Yeah. So it's the same size as Deku, so Deku would wrap around it and crush it like a snake before it could even do anything. Anyway, I'm ending this off here. Goodbye, my lovely, lovely audience, and bye-bye. I don't know how long this is because I don't have my little bubble with it, so bye-bye.